Welcome to the Dream Journal. From the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz, the Dream Journal is a weekly show where we explore the power of nighttime dreams through conversations with dream experts and with you. In the words of Carl Jung, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Today's music is called Forgettery, something that dreams help us with. Dreams help us forget what we don't need to know anymore. Creating frameworks for ancient wisdom. Our guest today is Stephanie R. Burns, who will talk about specific ideas for connecting with our ancestors, including the most ancient ancestor of them all, the Earth. I'm your host, Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork, and welcome to the Dream Journal. We are a weekly podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review, but most importantly, tell your friends. We, after all, have a mission here at the Dream Journal to get people talking about their dreams, and friends are a good place to start. Let them know that you're interested in dreams. You might be surprised. Some of your friends are probably too. You can find archives of the Dream Journal at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now I'm starting to release on PRX. I'm really excited to say that we are hoping to expand the circle of dreamers in the Dream Journal to public radio stations across the country. Stephanie R. Burns, PhD, is based in New Orleans, and she is an author, speaker, and a master dreamer who uses her multiple degrees to explore ways to create frameworks from ancient wisdom. She's authored 2 books and is the facilitator of the Connecting with the Ancestors apprenticeship. Stephanie enjoys traveling while she is not writing or dreaming, and you can find her on Instagram at Steph R. Burns, Facebook stephanie.r.burns, and then she has a link tree as well at Stephanie R. Burns. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi.
I'm so glad to have you on the show, and I'd really like to just jump right into our topic here, ancestral dreaming and dreaming for the collective. You know, you were at the IASD in Ashland. This is where I met you and saw your talk, and I was really inspired by all the different ideas that you had for contacting the ancestors. And so, let's talk a little bit about what does that even mean, ancestral dreaming?
Yes, it means different things for different people, but for me, ancestral dreaming is dreaming with, for, and about the ancestors. And so who are our ancestors? Many people look at ancestors as just bloodline relatives.
Right.
My view is very expensive. I see spirit or a person or thing or object that has existed or lived here before, and is now in the spirit realm.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be directly in your lineage.
Not for me,
right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I get that for most people, they only want to deal with their direct lineage, and that's fine.
Okay.
And then there are some cultures that look at ancestors as not only direct lineage, but also people or spirits that used to live that specifically are coming back to help.
Okay.
So they may not see every person or every transition person as an ancestor. So I try to just, I want people to find what resonates with them. Mm-hmm. But for me, mine is a bit expensive in that I work with usually the most benevolent ancestors.
Yes, you see, that was actually really such a relief for me to hear you when you said that at the conference is the benevolent ancestors, because there's ancestors that I have that I'm like, I don't think I want to know you. And to have that permission to not have to know them all is such a relief.
Correct. I mean, we think about our lives now, we don't include everyone in it, right? Because people oftentimes are not, they may not be in the right place or the right frame of mind for where we are in the moment. And just as we establish boundaries in our waking life, we need to also establish boundaries with our ancestors and in our dream life.
Ooh, say more about that. Ooh.
Yeah, so can't everything come through?
Yeah, can't everything. Okay.
I have the right to protect myself first.
Right.
And I have to be in the right frame of mind to receive messages and even with dreams, because our dreams are many different things, right? It is, I'm going to use King K. Lucas, who also was one of the speakers on the panel.
And she will be on the show here in a couple of weeks.
Yes, well, I will be back for that for sure.
Great.
She talks about, dreams as a way to deal with our suppressed memories. It's also tapping into the unconscious. It's also going into different worlds. And so with that, I have to be in the right frame of mind. It's all, it's that thing like, are you ready to be healed? If so, it's going to open up the pain and things that you did not know was present. So the same thing with dreams. Am I ready to receive messages from all the ancestors or certain ancestors? My apologies.
I just 70. I got to jump in. Do I have to feel my pain in order to heal it?
Well, I don't know how much time we have on that one.
Okay, I just had to put that in there. Carry on.
You don't have to. I don't think you necessarily have to feel it, but you do need to be aware of it.
Okay. Oh, there. Thank you that's a good distinction. Okay, thank you. Yes.
I think you do need to, because we can't heal what we're not aware of.
True. Okay.
But you're right. You don't have to feel it, and especially when doing ancestral work and ancestral dreaming, if I am dreaming on behalf of an ancestor, I don't necessarily want to feel their pain. I can get the message from their pain. I can get, like, if an ancestor is in need of healing, or if there's generational trauma in my family that needs healing and an ancestor is coming to give me the root of where that's coming from. And let's say it goes back to a time and a period that wasn't the best of times. I don't necessarily need to feel it, but I do need to get that message.
I see. And what you're saying is something that I like putting together two things that you said, I guess, is we don't have to receive the energy from these not so benevolent ancestors, but there is a way that we can heal them. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Put those two things
absolutely.
together. Wow. Okay.
Yes. Oh. Yes.
My goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. So ancestral dreaming, I started off by saying, well, who are your ancestors? And everyone has to define that for themselves. For me, something that has existed before that has now transitioned into a higher state. And so ancestral dreaming is dreaming with, for, and about those ancestors. And something else that King K said. So I my apologies to a King K for stealing all her good medicine. But she said you can work with ancestors without dreaming, but you can't dream without ancestors, working with the ancestors. And that's just, I think, for us in various different communities, African communities, indigenous communities, that ancestors is such a part of our lives that our dreams are in connection with them.
So even the dreams, those mundane dreams or the beautiful dreams or anything that's, basically you're saying all dreams are related to ancestors? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
They can be related to ancestors, but our practices and how we dream is definitely related to ancestors. The rituals I may do before I dream is definitely ancestral based.
Okay. How about those rituals? Can we get into some specifics? Like what? How is that?
Well, I'm always careful about sharing rituals because I feel like people need the full context of it.
Yeah.
But I will say this, I do a lot with water.
Okay.
Using the elements, water, air, fire, earth, right? So water is a big element that I use when I'm dreaming. But I think the biggest things with the rituals and the practices is this: intentionality and gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the intentions when you start dreaming? And I know a lot of people go, I don't remember my dreams, or I don't dream. I promise you are dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
You just may not remember it, and it is okay, but your subconscious is getting the information.
Mm-hmm.
And so the intentionality, when you go to sleep, let's say you're trying to understand something, or you're dealing with a particular issue or concern, or you want to dream about the future and this beautiful life you want to have.
Yeah.
If you start off with the intentionality of saying that, so I can call in my highest, most benevolent spirit guides, angels, ancestors to be present in the dream, and I would like to get clarity about X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
And then go to sleep, or if you have an awakened dream, and then having like something to record your dream as soon as you wake up. I can't remember which scholar said that oftentimes when your feet hits the floor, there's something that happens to your brain that makes you forget your dreams. And so if you can record the dreams while you are still lying down or in a restful state, go ahead and get that message down. And then after your dream, showing gratitude. And that gratitude can be in just saying thank you. It can be in making an offering to the ancestors, offering to the trees, offering to the earth, offering to the waters, however you say grace. That's a ritual.
Yeah. Okay. Because it is a meal. I mean, I love that idea of the ritual being a kind of saying grace. Like I think of saying grace before a meal,
Yes.
And dreaming is really quite a meal, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. Sometimes not, it's that liver you don't want.
But it's good for you.
But it's good for you. But sometimes it's the best meal that you've ever had.
Right. Either way, we're grateful, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Thinking of my nightmares as like liver.
And everybody's nightmare is going to be different too. So for those who love liver, that's a treat for them. Exactly. For the rest of us, it's like no,
exactly. Okay, wonderful. So one of the things that I was really struck by in looking at some of the things that you sent me. That having to do with the biggest ancestor of them all, like the most universal ancestor that we all have access to. And I wonder if you'd like to say a little bit about that. You know what I'm referring to?
Yes, Pachamama,
yeah.
Mama Earth.
Mama Earth.
Yes, it's gratitude, nothing but gratitude. I did not see the Earth as an ancestor initially. And I started an apprenticeship called Connecting with the Ancestors. And the apprenticeship was being guided by, you guessed it, the ancestors. And so as much as I knew is just as much as I did not know. And so one of the things, the very first apprenticeship cohort was named Deep Southern Roots. And the ancestors gave me that name. And I'm like, why Deep Southern Roots? So I thought the participants that maybe we all had some connection to the South. So we were trying to figure that out. And then as time went on and we were engaging with the elements of the earth, I'm also a medium and intuitive, so I probably should say that too. I received a channel message from the spirit of Gowandaland. And Gowandaland is, for those who know Pangea, millions and millions of years ago, the earth used to be one supercontinent.
Yeah.
And then that one supercontinent broke into two, the northern and the southern part. And the southern part was called Gowandaland. And now Deep Southern Roots has a whole new meaning.
Okay, right.
And when I think about the definition of ancestors, of something that existed before that no longer, but is now in ascended or spiritual state, Gowandaland existed before. The southern part of the continent was like a rainforest, a jungle. The weather was beautiful. And parts of that was our present day Antarctica.
Wow.
And so what happens when you take continents like Africa, South America, Australia, and Antarctica, India, and Madagascar, right? If you take these countries, continents, and that made up Gowandaland, and then they split. Because of the split, it actually allowed for humans to actually be on this earth. What can we learn from that? So when that showed up, I'm like, wow, we can learn from the earth. And whether people believe, see that as an ancestor or not, take it as facts and look at it from a historical perspective.
Right.
It can still teach us, what does the earth teach us that we can take today as we are trying to create new paradigms, new structures, new way of living? What can we learn from the earth?
Okay, right. And so the South is not referring to New Orleans per se, but the southern Gondwanaland?
Yes, it went really deep, quick.
Deep history. We're talking.
I was like, "Who's all from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas?" No.
Okay.
And it has just come up in every iteration of the cohort of the apprenticeship I've had. It's come up in the work that I do. It's come up. It keeps coming up, and so it would behoove me to not listen.
To listen to the title that you were bestowed, right? The title of the Southern. Tell me again.
Yeah, and really what the messages are. Even beyond that title, what can we learn? Like, I have now become so fascinated with what I call the sacrifice of Antarctica. Imagine that you were a part of this beautiful landscape, lush forests, warm weather, all these animals, walking on you, and now you are frozen habitat. But underneath that ice is our history, which is why you have so many scientists that go to Antarctica to learn, to test, because underneath it is still part of our history.
Yeah, deep history. We're talking not even millions of years, but hundreds of millions of years ago, if not
exactly. I can't remember. I think Gowandaland was something like 285 million years ago or 300 million years ago. So, and it does go back beyond that, as you say, into billions of years. That history lies underneath the ice of Antarctica and in other places, but Antarctica being one of them. So again, however you choose to look at it, we can learn something from it.
What an amazing thing to imagine, the creatures that used to live in the Antarctica and that are now buried under all that ice.
Right. And please, by no means do y'all go and melt that ice, because it will create.
I know. We want to keep that frozen. We do want to keep that frozen.
It will create so much havoc on the world.
Yes.
But this is why we can then connect with it via the dream world.
Oh, I see.
This is an opportunity for us to learn through the dream world what are the messages that we can get about creation and creating new models, and or whatever it is that you being led to learn from it.
Right. So this is definitely some deep history, not just your own ancestors, or not even this history of humanity, but history of mammals. They're back a couple 100 million years, but dreaming is even older than that. Like there's evidence that octopuses dream, spiders maybe even dream. So the dreaming is something. Who knows? Maybe amoebas dream. I don't know. There's dreaming goes back even deeper than that.
So if you go and you look at the Earth dreaming, we talk about dreaming for the collectivists. One of the things that I am very interested in, it's what I do, but it's also what I am interested in learning more and more about. What does it mean to dream with the Earth, and what does it mean for the Earth to dream? And and you can take it however you want to slice it. If you feel a spirit that is hovering over the Earth, what does it mean for the Earth to dream? It's a living organism in my mind that we all need to honor and cherish. And keep alive. And keep healthy.
What can we do as dreamers, people listening to this, and of course we're all dreamers, but as we're intentional dreamers, like we're people who are interested in dreaming awake, what can we do to enhance that connection? Like we talked earlier about healing our ancestors. Can we dream to heal the Earth, because we're putting great stress upon her?
Absolutely.
What do you recommend?
Yes, absolutely. In your dreams, when you set your intentions, if you want to have something that represents the Earth, a stone, a crystal, a rock, a flower, a branch. Connecting with that, having it on your nightstand. Always ask permission when you take something from the Earth, but always ask permission if it wants to go with you. As silly as it may sound, but this is one way we can honor the Earth, is asking permission of the Earth. So if you see a stone, whether you're on the beach, if you're in the forest, if you're, in a park or somewhere, you see a rock or stone, just ask for permission. You get it. And if you have crystals that you already own, you can have a crystal that you have at your bedside, just to represent that part of the Earth in which we connect to it. And invite the Earth Spirit in. Invite the Earth Spirit in. When you go, again, here's intentionality around your dreaming. Invite the Earth Spirit in. Be very intentional and say, tell me how I can help, or where are you getting the most pain, or how can we make this world a better place? What can I do? There was a young lady I met, and we just had this conversation. And she said to me that she had gotten through a dream the idea of sending Reiki. For those, Reiki is like energy. You send energy healing to the person or the object. And that she had gotten this idea of taking a map and going zip code by zip code and sending Reiki energy to a particular zip code. Just clear, pure Reiki energy to a particular zip code. So this is just, some random person I met actually at a restaurant. that received this message from a dream, and she, she just seemed to saw herself as an average dreamer, but she was just like, it just came to me. So those are just some ways to do it. I also, for those who like, I don't remember my dreams, take it into the waking world. I was at the beach and I walked in the water, one direction, asking the earth for forgiveness. And then I walked in the opposite direction, asking for ideas of what we like, dreaming with the earth awake. Like, let's create. What can we do to make this a better world?
Right. Okay. So following that intuition of what to do and then listening for the answer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, this is Stephanie R. Burns, PhD. So glad to have you here. We're talking about ancestral dreaming and healing the earth, and we'll be right back. We'll get a little more personal after the break. We'll find out a little bit about your background, Steph. Right now, I want to say we're broadcast live from the KSQD studios in Santa Cruz and co-broadcast live in San Jose by KCXU. Welcome back to the Dream Journal. Next week, our guest will be the Blue Lotus Queen herself, Joanna Kowaleska, who will tell us all about Yoga Nidra. I also want to give a shout out to one of the iTunes reviews we recently got from Stumbling Toward the Light. Says, I'm currently working on incubating my dreams. The episode where Catherine interviews Machiel Clerk on July 3 was very interesting and useful for my practice gate interview and guests. So thank you so much for leaving those reviews. It really does help. My name is Catherine Bell, and my guest is Stephanie R. Burns, PhD, and we're talking about ancestral dreaming. And I want to ask you, Stephanie, if you're okay to get a little personal. How did you get started with your dreaming? How did you get interested in dreaming? Is it something you've always been interested in, or were there some things that triggered you along the way?
Yeah, I've been dreaming since a child.
Yeah.
And just remembering as a child creating worlds, creating ideas, concepts. I would always get in trouble at school for daydreaming. And then as I got older, I started having premonitions in my dreams, things that came and I didn't know. I remember my mom asking me, how did you know that? And I was like, you didn't tell me? And she was just like, no. And then I realized it was coming through my dreams. And so as I got older, realizing it wasn't going to go away, I started getting mentors, Astrid Sandoval, I appreciate her. And my teacher, my good friend, Dr. Gerald Ann Robinson, aka Dr. G. Love, has been a mentor. And she has a retreat called Soul Shifting Retreats, invited me to Ecuador. And as soon as I stepped foot on that land and went through the sulfur springs, I just it opened up a new world. I just start to see so much clearer. And I just appreciate the containers that she's set up and the ways that she's helped me along the way in realizing how I dream and inviting me to be a master dreamer and part of their community.
Okay, and so that's that was what sponsored you to pay more attention to the dreams and to really believe that you could bring them into the world, because many people do pay attention to their dreams, but it's a personal matter, a private matter. But for you, it's so much more.
Yeah, it was so much more, and it started off. I think when I was a child, I would see drawings on the wall, and the drawings in my dreams, and the drawings would be of a different country, and I would, but it was getting rebuilt, and I would have dreams before the GPS came out. I remember telling my mom, I had a dream about a computer in a car, and the car is going to drive by themselves and all these things. And I had it, I drew it, like I could specifically draw it. And she would always listen. So yeah, I went through that, like dreaming and like those futuristic dreamings, and then having dreams for myself, like this is very personal, to going back to dreaming for the community again. And like, I don't know, this doesn't mean anything for me. And then you say something to someone else and you realize it had everything to do for them. And so, yes, Dr. Gerald Robinson, she was really influential on making sure of helping to teach, coach, guide me, and how that shows up in the community, how to dream for the community, how to be responsible for those dreams, and how to say no.
Right.
Right. Because again, you can't do everything.
No, you don't want to
be everything for everybody.
Totally. You don't want to share with just anybody these personal. And yet, if you hadn't shared with some of the people these dreams that made no sense to you, you wouldn't have seen the connection that it did make sense to them. So there's
exactly. Because we're all connected. If we all really think about it, we're all connected. And if we all tune in to ourselves, even if we just tune into ourselves and really know who we are fully, then we'll be able to see how we're all connected.
Oh, if it weren't only that easy, Stephanie. If only we could just tune into. I'm working on it.
I want to live in such a simple world, but I know it's never that.
Never that
even with my own self.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But it's aspirational, and we can work towards it. It's, life is long. We have we have a lot of things that happen in any given life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is true.
Yeah. So, Stephanie, I have Max here in the studio with me, and he has a question for you.
Okay,
Steph. Stephanie.
Hi, Max. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am well. Thank you for asking.
Good. So, it's not exactly a question. I just wanted to share something with you.
Okay.
Last night I was dreaming about putting an oak tree that had fallen up in our yard, standing it up and putting something on it, carving something in it. And this morning when I woke up, I wrote it down. And so it said, since they knew not that no thing or action was alone or isolated, the world seemed random and incomprehensible, but the web was there inside and around them.
Ooh, can you read that again, Max?
Yes, please read that again.
Yeah, here.
Okay.
A little louder, Max.
Okay. Since they knew not that no thing or action was alone and isolated, the world seemed random and incomprehensible. But the web was there, in and around them.
Oh.
Wow.
Now, I know I saw your talks at the last conference, but this seems to come out of the dream.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So there is a web, but we think things are all isolated, and yet it's not so.
It's not so. And if we just tapped in, and the beautiful thing about what you said, Max, is trees are a great example. They are so connected to each other at the roots. They feed each other. And when a tree gets sick, they try to help the other tree. But if the tree is no longer useful, then the other trees will connect with, they will bypass the tree and connect with each other. So trees are a great example of how we're connected. And the fact that this oak tree showed up to give that message just resonates even more so. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, thanks for the insight.
I love that, like the family tree or the web of life. There's something amazing.
Yes. the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, the tree of all the things, right?
Right. Okay, we have a caller. Let's connect here. Hey there. Oh, Stephen Pop, the host of In the Garden, is calling in from Prunedale. You got home on time.
my drive home, and I do have a question for Stephanie.
Yeah.
I'm very interested, and good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
I'm really very interested in being able to connect with some of my ancestors through dreaming, and then try to formulate an alliance for my waking life. And I'm wondering if you have any suggestions or tips. I'm perhaps creating an individual ritual, but I'm just curious what you could offer for how to create an alliance with. I have one ancestor in particular, that a grandfather that's no longer here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more when you say alliance, what you mean? I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Sure, certainly. In terms of living my life in a way that is to more the benefit of all sentient beings and the planet, and being able to, this individual's energy and power was very positive and very enlightening, and I miss being able to. He died when I was 10, and I miss being able to have conversations, and I think there's a lot of wisdom there that could be shared, but I have no access to.
Got it. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. One of the things that I teach in the apprenticeship is understanding how our ancestors receive and send messages, and the same way in which we like to receive and send messages. So if you had a relationship with your grandfather that you remember, what were some of the things that he actually liked? Like, how would he have shown up in the 3D? And if he was someone who maybe would have played a song or would have taken you fishing, or if he was a quiet person but would leave messages, then start trying to connect with it from that perspective. Because as we transition, it is my belief a lot of who we were in the 3D still remains as we go into higher realms. And so find a way to connect in a way that feels comfortable for him, because he could be like, I am trying to connect with you, you're just missing all the things.
Well, there's that possibility for sure.
Like, even if you're in your dreams, if you're looking for him specifically, but he just opens the door, but that's always what he did, was open the door. You may miss that because you're looking for the physical representation of him versus the how part, right? Like, I opened the door for you. I showed you this way. I told you this. I brought you to this person, So look at it in that way and see if that helps.
That is helpful. I would hope then also that there would be a process by which we can make ourselves open to all of our ancestors, the non-malevolent ones, obviously.
Yes.
But,
no, I assure you don't.
Okay.
I promise you. Just take it from me. Don't ask for that.
No.
No, absolutely. No, I want to be open to being able to have these connections. I don't want to get too hung up on just the one individual, but he was a very important person and very powerful in that regard. So, well, that's great. I will use that technique then. Thank you.
Yeah, and as for when you do your dreaming, intentionally ask him to come into the dreams, or if he cannot come into your dreams, because maybe there is a reason why, then ask for someone, a spirit guide, high benevolent ancestor, come in and tell you why. But try to connect on a way that he would have connected with you if he was still alive.
Well, I have a fishing trip in mind.
Fishing
there you
trip.
go. Absolutely.
All right.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling,
You're
Steve.
very welcome. Thank you, Steve.
Wonderful.
You bet. Thanks, Catherine. Great stuff.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Well, this is wonderful, Stephanie. I find myself connecting with so many dots too with of my 4 grandparents. My father's mother is the one that I feel the fondest of. And and I can think of several memories of her, which just thinking of those memories does bring her closer. And I actually have a picture of her that I made a painting of, and I have that painting hung over my dining room table right now because I'm kind of mulling over the idea of the ancestors now. And so thank you so much for that suggestion about getting something concrete.
Yes.
Of course,
Very
if you go
welcome.
back a little further, you don't have those concrete things, but you may know a little bit about like where they were born or, where they lived. So there may be
Absolutely.
something specific.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Do some research as much as you possibly can, because when we really are truly trying to build authentic relationship, let's invest just as amount of work as we would do if we were, dealing with someone
Right.
this world and of 3D. Like, it takes time and it takes intentionality and it takes effort. And we just have different vehicles in which we can do it when we're dealing with the other side.
Right. Thank you. Okay. So we have another caller. We have Kay.
Awesome.
I know. We have this. This is a very popular show. We have Kay from Vermont. Hello, Kay. Can you hear us?
I can.
Great. I can hear you fine. So thank you so much for calling in. You're speaking to the Dream Journal. I'm Catherine, and Stephanie's is our guest. What can we do for you?
Okay, so Dr. Stephanie Burns, I've been listening to you, and I just want to say, one, you're fabulous. You're fabulous. I guess my question is a clarity or a clarification question.
Okay.
When the ancestors give you a message, when they give you a message and you believe you are moving on that message, but then I guess the question is, can you doubt them?
Oh, absolutely.
Can you
Trickster
doubt them?
energy is
Yeah.
Can you doubt them?
Ooh,
Yes. Trickster energy is real. This is a great question.
Okay.
Yes. You can doubt them. You can. How do you know what you know? So this is, again, about knowing yourself, having protection in place. We do a thing about asking people, who are you? Are you of the light? Where you come from? Why are you here? There's so many more things one can do when talking to ancestors. But yes, you can doubt them, and usually I do doubt them initially until I know. But knowing, and this is why I say knowing yourself matters, because when something doesn't feel right to me, I'm going to feel it, and I may have this just ache in my gut, like something just doesn't feel right. And if I do that, then that means I need to question it. And if I need to question it, then I may reach out and talk to my community and say, hey, this showed up in my dream, but I'm questioning it. So however you experience doubt or what makes your triggers go off, absolutely you can doubt them. But on the other hand, for those people who just refusing to work with the ancestors because you just don't want to, and so you insert doubt because you don't want to, you're like, I don't know if it's really them. Ask them a question that they will only know about you. There's ways to put things in place.
Okay.
Ask them a question. Does that make sense, Kay?
It does make sense. I think what I am struggling with is that I have this shortness. Because once I get a message in my dream, there's a shortness, right?
A shortness?
A shortness.
Shortness. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But then the world around is questioning that. And then they're asking, are you sure?
I gotcha. So you have assuredness, but you feel like the people around you aren't sure.
Which makes me, I think makes me doubt what they're saying, I doubt my dreams, or doubt.
Right.
These are fragmented.
Right. No, that's real. Take a step outside of that, right? Let's put the dreams aside, and let's just look at your group of friends on just anything. If you say, "Hey, I'm about to go run an errand," and they say to you, "I don't think you need to go run that errand." Are they, is it because they watched the weather report and it was about to rain? You know what I mean? Like, who are they to you? And perhaps asking more questions. And sometimes those questions are just very simple, like, why do you feel that? Or why are you questioning the message I received? Because it could be that they're not questioning the message. It could be that they just want a different response or a different answer. So I'd say ask more questions to them and just know who they are to you. Like, are these people that you trust? And if these are people that you trust, then have deeper conversations with them. If these are people you don't normally trust anyway, then I wouldn't necessarily listen. Know yourself, right? But if you were asked to, like, I don't know, go teach at a school, and I say to you, I don't know, then ask me, why am I questioning it? And get deeper, because maybe I'm like, because I used to teach at a school, and I'm telling you it ain't all what it's cracked up to be. But that doesn't mean that's not what your ancestors telling you. And the other thing heard is sometimes what your ancestors want, and it's the same way you question your friends, question your ancestors too, because sometimes what the ancestors may ask you to do, is it a benefit to you, or is it a benefit to them?
Ooh.
What's this might be a long conversation. I'm so sorry. What's the difference? My upbringing and my training when it comes to the ancestors, that what they ask you to do is for the benefit of all. But from what I'm hearing, you say that it could be, but it could be not.
It could be not, because depending on who's giving you the message, right? So let's say that's the thing. Like, if it's we think about Ubuntu, right? I am because we are because I am, right? It's the ultimate message about community. So sometimes I have to make sacrifices on behalf of the community because it is going to better my community when I do it. But then you can have that straight ancestor that is like, no, this is something I wanted that I never got to have. And I'm going to live it through you. But then that's not necessarily the benefit of you or the community. That is the benefit of them. And so specifically asking for clarity is important.
Oh, wow.
Who is it? Why am I doing it? Show me the complete picture.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Caution is warranted.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
and
you so much.
And my ancestors know I'm stubborn, so they have to come back many times and be like, did you get that message?
I'm still thinking about it. Just give me a minute. Kay, thank you so much. Kay? Thanks for calling in. I hope this helped. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, this has been an amazing conversation, Stephanie. This is Stephanie Burns, and we're getting ready to wrap up. Do you have any, want to share some contact information with our listeners? How can folks follow up with you?
Yeah, I would say the best thing, if you're on Instagram, go to Steph, STEPH, R, the letter R as in Renee, Burns, BURNS. go to my Instagram. I have a link tree. You can click on that. You can see some of the, I'll list this podcast on there, other podcasts I've been on, classes that I'm offering, things of that nature. My link tree is Stephanie R. Burns. If you're familiar how to go directly to the link tree, it's Stephanie R. Burns. Those are the best ways to get in touch with me. And then email is Steph, STEPH, R as in Renee, BURNS @gmail.com. So Steph R. Burns @gmail.com if you have any questions you want to follow up that way.
Wonderful. And you have the apprenticeship training, which I guess if people contact you, they can find out more about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I wonder if you have any final thoughts and encouragements from our listeners.
Yeah. First, thank you, all of you. Thank you, Catherine, for inviting me. Just keep it simple. Like, take it easy, ask the right questions, build those relationships. Don't be afraid. These are your people, because most people, ancestors, is their bloodline relatives. These are your people. So just treat them as if they were right here with you. And let's go heal the earth.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Thank you, Stephanie Burns. So wonderful to have you on the show, and let's heal the earth.
Thank you again. Yes, let's heal the earth.
All right. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Take care.
Sure. So thank you all for listening. The Dream Journal is produced at the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz. We're live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific at ksqd.org in case you'd like to call in yourself. The podcast is released on the Monday after the show. Keeps us growing when you subscribe, rate, and review. I am Catherine Bell. You can find out about my dream coaching practice at experientialdreamwork.com. You can email me at catherine@ksqd.org, as KATHERINE, @ksqd.org. You can follow Experiential Dreamwork on Facebook and Instagram to find out about upcoming shows. I'd like to thank Rick Kleffel, engineer and music creator. Also, Tony Rosimano, Eva Milady, and the intro music is Water Over Stones, and this outro music is Everything, both by Mood Science. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, take a minute to write down your dream and bring it to the next Dream Journal.